Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage on a gray Monday afternoon. It was pretty warm this morning. I was working outside. Kind of humid, but rain is going to come in this afternoon and overnight. So I guess that's the reason why it feels humid out. And looks like kind of a wet week off and on. Nobody's hollering drought at the moment, so you got to take it as it comes. I have been doing lots of work outside. I got my whole yard in shambles, trying to make room for some storage containers. I ordered them Friday. They'll be here in a week or so. 40 footers this time, and they're for project vehicles or finished vehicles. I've always said the shop should not be for parking vehicles, and now I have 4 projects inside at all times. So fortunately, I saved my little pennies, and I'll be able to shuffle projects in and out and not overwhelm the garage or the shop with, dead weight or dead wood. So, and also it's actually going to help, if I feel like working on like the 56 wagon, I have the new motor to put in it, brand new clutch, brakes, everything. And it doesn't have to come in and work till finish and then have no place to put it. I'm not going to put a new motor or new brakes and stuff on it and put it outside and let it rust. So at least now it'll be undercover. So then I can swap stuff around as parts and time and desire, come together. So that's good. And I was expanding one other area. My buddy came over and his son Saturday morning, dropped some trees, processed all the wood, and I got a few stumps to dig. That's originally where I was going to put the containers, but I changed my mind, so I got a whole nother plan we'll have to cover when they actually show up here. My plan is to have, the containers for parking in, and then I'm going to I spacing them out, I'm going to make a small roof over the 12-foot gap I'm putting in the middle of them. So I'll have a 12 by 40 covered parking area, still outside, but the red Dodge and the new step side, the flat black one I bought, etc. They're gonna live outside, but at least they'll have a roof over their head. So that'll be good. I'm excited about that. So I've been buying parts here and there as I go along. That's the way my brain works. I'm always like, this is a project, if you will, and it needs things, so I shop for them. And I wanted to change out all the rocker arms because they're mismatched. And as we showed in the last video we did on this motor, they don't have the same amount of lift when you measure it, even though the rockers are both Comp Cams 152s. They're different, they're marked different, and they measure out different. So I was shopping for a set of roller rockers, and I settled, if you will, on the Summit Racing ones, G90, let me scratch that, G6905. And the reason I settled on them, because they're $100 cheaper than like a Scorpion or anybody. There's only a few decent rockers out there, but these are supposedly, they'll clear an 1 5/8 1625 spring. They have quite a cutout because that's a problem on a lot of rockers. They hit. That's a definite area. This has, I believe, 155 springs, 1.155. Is that right? 1.550, 1.550. So I have clearance here, but these will accommodate 0.950 lift. So a lot of rockers will hit in here. They'll hit underneath, they'll hit in here. It's a problem. So these were like $330. And lately Summit has been doing some pretty fantastic things. They got more camshafts coming out. They went pretty hard into the LS stuff. Rotating assemblies and pistons, etc. Now they have camshafts. And I like the direction it's headed. They got a car guy making decisions, and I'll give these a try. Why not? So to make them fit, I've already learned that my adjusters just barely clear here. Now the adjusters for the stud girdle don't come with these. These come with regular nuts, but I'm not going to run a giant roller camshaft in a relatively high RPM small block without having a stud girdle, because I don't want to break the studs out of the head, which is what's happening. There's going to be a lot of flex. So I need to take each adjuster and cut some off the bottom fat portion that the stud girdle clamps around. I just haven't done it yet, and I can already tell by mocking it up that I'm also going to have to mount the stud girdle up fairly high, because these rockers are quite cumbersome size-wise. And I can make them fit, but it's all things you got to consider. When I bought these cylinder heads here, the guy had a box of rocker arms. It looks like somebody taking a hammer and beat the hell out of it everywhere. I said, man, those hit everything. Not only are you putting metal and everything, but eventually you're going to break something. So when you set up a valve train, you got to make sure it's going to run as harmonious as possible. In one of the last videos, I talked about the 86 Chevy Stepside that I bought on a whim a week ago Saturday, and I'm totally happy with it. When I went to open the tailgate, it fell off in my hand because it was missing these little round things. They call them trunnions. It would have been easy to make these. And then I found them for $16 on Amazon with the hardware and everything. And I bought them. So I got to go fix the tailgate someday. That's a piece of cake. I ran the VIN, and it's a Canadian truck. The VIN starts with a 2. I believe it's built in Ontario. I have to look that up. I forgot. Or Ottawa. Somewhere in Canada. And the combo, that's a strange truck. It's a 1986. It had a 4.3 V6. I think that's the second year of the 4.3 V6 compared to the inline. They get rid of the inline, they went to the V6. And 4.3 with a 4-barrel quadrajet. Had just a standard, maybe a 26-inch tall, 15-inch tire. Nothing special. And 456 gears. That's what that truck came with. And it had a TH350 with a lockup torque converter. But that thing must have been restricted to probably 60 miles an hour. I mean, can you imagine motoring down the road in the highway speed in that? That must have been a horrible truck. Great for your old man putting around town going to the dump, I suppose, but typically they buy an 8-foot bed with a cap. So I found that pretty interesting. So Canadian truck, it is an 86. Somebody must have changed the glove box, perhaps. The glove box is marked 85, but the VIN says it's a 1986. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, in one of the recent videos, with the tractor-related stuff, I bought a brand new finish mower. New to me, never been used, not new from a dealer. Bought it from a nice old guy. And I don't believe he knew there was anything wrong with it, if there was at the time, but immediately, the second time I used it, I cut the fray off this belt, but it frayed one of the belts and the belts all came off. And it bent the front pulley. It's a double pulley on the front. I haven't actually matched this up, but I'm pretty sure it's the right one. It had had some horrible welding done. It looks factory, I suppose. This one has no weld, so I had to find a pulley. Shouldn't be that hard to find parts for that mower, but it's like it doesn't exist. So I had to, use my online detective skills and, just stare at the way they're built, and you end up learning way more about mowers than you want to. So I have a new pulley. I actually bought the exact belt that was on it. I swear I can't even pronounce the country they came from, but it is the identical belt. I bought a Gates belt. I'll try to see if I can make that fit, but I bought 2 sets of these. I'm hoping to never need them. Again, I already mentioned I'm 62. I've been mowing my whole life. I've never had to change a deck belt. I've never had one fail. I guess I'm lucky. This thing ran less than an hour, brand new. And when I set it up, I would say maybe the belts were loose, but I couldn't. I'm holding the PTO and holding the blade underneath, and there was no slippage. And it had covers over the belts. I'm not sure I would have retensioned them without running it. And I can't imagine the failure. I don't know if the pulley bent as the belts were coming off, or it was just a horribly bent to start with. The singles got a little wobble to them too, so I'm going to put it all back together and hope that we never have this discussion again and it lasts a good long time. Here's the problem. If it still continues to chuck belts, I got to figure it out. I could not in good conscience sell it to anybody else. You know, if I'm going to do something dastardly, it's going to cost more than a finish mower. So, and no, I'm not going to do anything dastardly, and I just couldn't live with myself. I passed on a hunk of junk to somebody else. So I'll have to figure it out. I paid half price for what a new mower costs, less than half price, probably a third. And it was, I saw the crate it was in. There was no grass clippings. It was absolutely brand new. It's just clearly, while it looks okay, I think it's a hunk of junk. But we'll be able to fix it. It's a lawnmower. Doesn't turn that high in RPM. Should be able to figure this out. So more on that in the future. Finish with this. I have always been a fan of MSD ignition components. Lately, for no apparent reason, I have not figured it out. I don't know if you can see the rust on that. You pop the cap, it'll look perfect under the hood, nice and clean. You take the cap off and it looks like it washed up on the beach. And I've had this experience too many times in the last 10 years to have it be an oddity. So my brother suggested I'm going to try at least soaking the reluctor in vinegar, maybe to get the rust off it, and maybe this little bracket over here, I might have to buy the whole pickup piece. I mean, the rest of it's fine, but you shouldn't have to do that. And what's causing it? That remains a mystery. I spray them with silicone, even when they're sitting around in a box now. I got 4 or 5 of them. Every time I see one for sale, and it's reasonably priced, 100, 150 bucks or so, I'll go buy it. It's less than half price of a new one, and not much to go wrong there, except for the rust part. So a few, 10 years ago now, I bought a nice 632 motor. I know its entire history. It's never been abused or outside or any reason why the inside of the MSD should look like that, and it did. But if you have any ideas on that one, like I said, I spray the whole thing with silicone, because if it was a wet morning, back when people had points and stuff and your vehicle wouldn't start, you spray the inside of the cap and the points and everything with silicone, and it displaces water and probably start up. So if it leaves a coating on there that won't let it rust, well, that's good too. So that's what I do now when they're sitting around in the box. So have a great day, and I'll be back on something maybe a little more interesting in the next video. I hope. Take her easy.